go on to number 10 if you haven't already. As you finish it, you can check it up on the board. And then making sure you're underlining or boxing or highlighting your answers so that when people check them, they can see where your answers are easily. So they don't have to play hide and seek. So that's how you can find the greatest common factor without listing out all the common factors, circling the common factors, and then putting them in order from least to greatest, and then finding the greatest one to find the greatest common factor. It eliminates some possibility for error, and it's a little quicker, because in 6th grade, when we're moving up into higher math, we need to have some more quick ways of doing things. Okay, the last thing we're going to work on is using greatest common factor with the distributive property. So remember, the distributive property means to distribute or to put it in a different order, to kind of rearrange it in a way. So if you think of distributing, like when a teacher distributes papers, they're passing them out. So if I had something like 4 plus 8, I could make this equal to 4 times 1 plus 2. So 4 plus 8 is 12. And then following order of operations, 1 plus 2 is 3 times 4 is 12. So I'll show you how to do that. So the first step is to solve 35 plus 91, because that's what we're going to redistribute using the distributive property. So it says use the greatest common factor with the distributive property. We're going to get it so it will look similar to this. We'll have a greatest common factor and the sum of 2 other numbers. So we solve it and we get the answer is 126. Okay? When we have both sides, we're going to want them to equal. So we want our final answer inside the parentheses and multiplied by the greatest common factor to equal the 126. The next step is to find the greatest common factor. We can use our prime factorization chart to do that. So I have these 2 numbers, and I can find the common factors from those. So 2 I know I can't divide by, that's the first prime factor. 3 I cannot as well. 5 would not work. I can try 7, so in my calculator I could do 35 divided by 7, you should know is work. That would work. That's a math fact. 91 divided by 7. Ooh, some of you probably didn't know that one would work. So both of these can divide by 7. 35 divided by 7 is 5, and 91 divided by 7 was 13. Those both are prime numbers, so I stop. Okay. If you get only one number that you have found, then it's essentially like multiplying 7 times 1. I don't need to multiply it by anything else, but it's not like 7 times 0, because that would be 0. It's like 7 times 1. Okay, you can think of it as you're dividing both of these by 1 to get the same thing. So the greatest common factor is 7. So I have that. So that is what I put outside my parentheses, like up here. Okay, and then the sum of the 2 other numbers, your 2 other numbers are these 2 that are left over, the 5 and the 13. So I just take the 5 and I put it inside the parentheses, and I take the 13 and put it in the other one. So my 2 sides of my equation would be 35 plus 91 is equal to 7 times, that's what parentheses mean, 5 plus 13. So we remember that 35 plus 91, we solved it up here, was equal to 126. Okay, so we have to make sure this side equals 126. So 5 plus 13 is 18. And then I have to multiply that following order of operations times 7. So 18 times 7 is 126. So if 126 is equal to 126, if it's an equation, it has to be equal. Did I do the work correct? The answer is yes. Technically, 126 is not my answer. My answer is the 7 times the 5 plus 13 because I redistributed it using the distributive property. So I have the greatest common factor, which was the 7, and then the sum of the two other numbers within it. So you can write up here by the directions if you want. Greatest common factor, sum of numbers. And that is your lesson on greatest common factors and how you can use prime factorization to help you lessen the chance of having errors and do the work a little faster.